Hello dear friends. You are on Melonfonk channel. In this video we will discuss what can be added to Melon Playground in the future. And for you my friends, I have just great news. Me and my friends are running a contest for 5,000 MELS. And you heard right, 5,000 MELS. The conditions of the contest are very simple because all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, put a like and write cool comments. We'll fulfill the terms and conditions and get your freebies. Well, I won't waste your time and have a nice viewing. Friends, have you ever thought about what will happen in a year, in 2 years with Melon Playground? What will happen to the community and how far the game will advance in terms of technology? Because all this is not standing still either. Before we start, I'd like to ask you to think about it and write about your thoughts in the comments. What will happen to the game in a year or two? Or maybe even in 10 years? Write in the comments what concepts you see, what changes you see in the game. Well, maybe a year from now, the game and its community will be completely out of sight. Maybe we haven't even seen the peak yet and will be part of the story. I think there will be some really incredible reveals for Melon Playground by update 35.0. For example, I'm expecting a new ragdoll. And it doesn't seem like a fairy tale, because the developers themselves are announcing it, but they're announcing that it won't be in the next few updates. And new behavior and physics of the characters we are waiting for exactly, and 100%. And in general, we are all waiting for it too, because what we have in the game now, as far as I'm concerned, is rather boring and rather weak. And I think it's hard to disagree with me here. We see examples of really good ragdoll, it's the same gore box, but I think you just have to try to come up with an idea of how it would work perfectly. Of course, within the confines of the engine that the developers currently have on hand. But that seems pretty doable to me. Ragdoll doesn't seem like such a crazy idea. But what if I told you that there are plans to add artificial intelligence to Melon Playground? This is not a joke, guys. Why not add AI to the behavior of the NPS? After all, what's in the game now is really boring. For example, NPS would react differently to this or that damage. Perhaps they would have emotions, and each NPS would be unique, with its own unique pattern of behavior. And that would be perfectly combined with a new emotion, or a new ragdoll. And honestly, I think that's what will happen in the future. There's nothing impossible here, why not just take it and add it to the game? And I'm generally convinced that's what will happen in the future, and that's cool. But I think that the developers realize that everything they have in the game, and so a kind of maximum, because everything is limited by the capabilities of the engine. And what if you take the game to a new engine to get more features, to just take what we have and get rid of it, to literally break the game, to rewrite it? Because sometimes you have to break the old one to create something perfect. And I think Melon Playground is that case. After all, from update to update there are more and more bugs, and all because of the fact that at the beginning of Melon Playground development too many mistakes were made. And it is already very difficult to look for these errors in the huge application code. And as much as the developers probably don't want to admit it, but a new engine, maybe even their own custom engine, is probably an inevitability. And if they want the game to evolve and reach some new, incredibly right level. I might be wrong, I'm not denying that. But it seems to me that it's quite the right thing to do. But these are changes that don't lie on the surface. And let's talk about what we're all looking forward to. And that is multiplayer. And that will quite possibly be added even in a future update, in the upcoming 30.0. And the developers themselves have explicitly stated that they are developing multiplayer. And this is really a new level. And here you just imagine, you go to Melon Playground somewhere after school and with your friends are going to build something incredible. Only in 2D projection, that is Minecraft. Only on your phone, only it's Melon Playground. So much only, but it's going to be an incredible story. We will create our own custom servers that will work, maybe somewhere with bugs, maybe with a huge ping. We'll be creating our own unique builds and just having fun with our friends. How it will work exactly, honestly, I have no idea. The developers have a really huge job to do. And multiplayer will solve the problem of constant online. It seems to me that all the same online in the game depends on the update. But when the multiplayer will be released, the online will be so constant. It will be so much that perhaps at first we will just have a huge queue to enter the game. And I'm more than sure of that. With the release of multiplayer will change simply the approach to the game. And this is just a huge plus. I think it's silly to deny this fact. And so with the release of multiplayer, another addition is called for. A new ecosystem of communication within the game. In-game chat and just private messaging between players. Just imagine, you enter multiplayer, You have a player profile, you enter the workshop, and you can always write to the author of the mod. Or just a general chat between all players, some of your own rooms, some of your own chats, chips. It will just bring the community together a lot. And that's a definite plus. There will be new jobs. Realistically, Melon Playground can turn into a place for work, because for all this, we'll need moderators. It's hard to imagine how far this could go. And honestly, I can't imagine any games nowadays without donations, and this is actually a very logical and correct decision. After all, to create something unique and cool, you need to add either a huge amount of advertising or really good donation. And I'm honestly more inclined to the second option. Advertising really annoys everyone, and probably the developers do not bring as much money as I would like. Donation, on the other hand, is a voluntary story. You can either donate or not. Yes, now it is present in the game, but it is not as unique as we would like. After all, we can get many mods simply from Telegram feeds or other social networks. As I see donate to Melon Playground, for example, really unique skins, which could only be obtained by donating or opening any cases. I suggested this idea to the developer, but he said he'd think about it, and it's unlikely to be possible. But honestly, I think it would be really cool. Well, for example, would add unique cases for transportation. That is, in the case will be 15 skins, which really add some interesting things. Maybe somehow either expand the transportation, or just give a new paint job. Why not, guys? Why not? And in this case, donations would be voluntary, meaning you're not forced to donate to get an advantage in the game. You just buy what you like. And all those who will write that donation is bad, I think you should rethink it and think about it, because donation is in fact the highest form of the game. Everyone comes to it one way or another, and it's not a bad thing. The studio makes money from it, the players get high from it, and everything's in harmony. After all, with the money you spend on cases and develop essentially the game, as it seems to me, about the ideal system of donation is in two games, it's PUBG and CS2. So basically, you don't get some incredible advantage when you buy this or that weapon or just plain skin, but you do get some real uniqueness. We all want to stand out in one way or another, but your skill doesn't depend on it. You want to buy yourself some unique butterfly knife for $1,000 or not. And all this with sauce can be flavored with a new system of rewards and missions. Yes, now there are events, but it seems to me that they are quite boring, just every day a new mission, which is repeated essentially from time to time. The concept remains the same, just the items change. I would like to see this reworked. I don't mind the concept, let it stay, just need it come up less often. Just add more concepts. Literally, for example, make missions of an accumulative nature. That is, let's say a mission would be in the form of, you get 300 Milos if you put 1,000 NPCs on the map for their 3 days. And this, first of all, would encourage players to play constantly. It is in general and interesting, and I love this kind of games. Write in the comments what you think about it. Be sure to write in the comments how you see Melon Playground in the update 35.0, and we will, of course, discuss it all. Well, this is the end of my video. Thank you all for watching. Good luck. Goodbye, everyone. And remember, my friend, as always, see you the other day.